Good evening to everyone watching. Every Thursday, 5 to 6 p.m. Coach Sharon Christine with Get Inspired. Not forgetting, we're sponsored by Curious Youth Uganda, CYU. Of course, to know more about them, follow them on their Facebook page, that is Curious Youth Uganda. Today, I have a very special guest. I think I'm among the luckiest people of hosting Ako today. I don't want to talk more about him, but I'm sure he's going to give you the best introduction that I cannot give you. And of course, my guest in that room, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Introduce yourself to the people so that they get to know yourself.
Yeah, I'm Rev Canon, Professor Gideon, Baguma Byamgisha. When I'm in Uganda, I am Semakula also, from the Rev Clan.
Okay.
I'm a teacher by profession, a pastor by calling, a theologian by training, and a priest by ordination. My people know me mostly as the first religious leader in Africa to disclose his HIV status in 1992, January. So I'm more known as that priest who talks about AIDS. You know? Yeah, and the Lord has been gracious. I have done that work, with the help of friends and my spiritual mentors, very well. And so I'm glad to be hosted by Curious Youth Uganda. I'm looking forward to sharing more on this platform. I'm a married man with 3 children.
Yeah, he's Canon Gideon. Actually, what I told you, the name Byamgisha, I think I just read more and got to know where the name came from. Actually read that at the age of, I'm not sure of the age, whether 3 or something, you nearly drowned.
Yeah, I drowned.
That's why your Jaja gave you the Byamgisha name. Whether you should look out for all books written by Canon Gideon. I think Ajabio Gerakao, Matue Yongede Maso. So Canon Gideon, most of us are interested in the life before you go to know that you are positive. But before we go to that, first explain to the people the difference between AIDS and HIV. Hope I'm clear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we get confused.
I'm
with
glad
that.
you asked that question because there is a virus called HIV, human immunodeficiency virus.
Yeah.
It causes, once it attacks you, then it causes AIDS when it has reached a stage where you show symptoms.
Okay.
Then we call that AIDS. And there is early AIDS, then there is advanced AIDS. So people need to know those 3 words. That HIV enters the body, and then you become HIV positive. Then it creates damage to your cells and makes you vulnerable to many diseases. Then because of that collapse of the immune system and the invasion of so many diseases, you develop AIDS. People confuse them. Now, that is, you can't be mulwadi immediately, unless you have been very sick. But if you are healthy and you go and test, then you are HIV positive. If you don't look after yourself and you don't you don't start treatment, then you develop AIDS. Yes, so ninakauka ndi mulwadde byanjawulo. Like me now, I am HIV positive, but I'm not AIDS sick. There was a time when I was AIDS sick in 1998, and I nearly died actually. If it was not for the intervention of my bishop and my friends and the government of Uganda, probably I would be dead. But when I started treatment, I recovered, so that the virus, the treatment fought off the symptoms, and then I beat off AIDS. Now I'm HIV positive. If I stopped taking ARVs now, the virus may invade the cells again and spread, and then cause the immune dysfunction, and then I develop AIDS again and die.
So that is the difference to all the viewers. Hope it is now very clear. So Canon, how was your life before you got to know that you were positive? Yeah, how was your life, your education?
My education?
Yeah.
I I had finished my first degree in Makerere University.
Okay.
I did a Bachelor of Arts with Education. We are the first graduates, by the way, to do a degree in education. At first, they were giving BA or BSc, and then you go back for a diploma in education. Our year was the first to say, no, if you are a teacher, do a degree in teaching. So I graduated. I went to teach in Ruyonza and Bweranyanji, and then I became a deputy headmaster of a high school, and then I felt called to join ordained ministry.
Okay.
So and then I was enrolled at Bishop Tucker Theological College, which is the Anglican National Theological College, in 1988. I graduated in 1991 with the first class. So they said, oh, okay, since he's already a teacher and he has a first class in theology, then he should remain here teaching.
Yeah.
So I became a lecturer the same year I graduated in 1991. So by the time I was being told I'm HIV positive, I was only like 4 or 5 months in a teaching profession at Bishop Tucker College, which is now Uganda Christian University.
So how did you get to know that you were positive?
I got to know that I was positive following the loss of my wife.
Your first wife?
My first wife, yeah. I married in 1987,
Okay.
and then we lost our firstborn, and then we had another child in 1990, and then on April 30th, in 1991, I lost Kellen. Very suddenly, very abruptly. The sickness was like for one week.
1 week.
Yeah, and but my sister-in-law, that day they went to hospital. I mean to the clinic.
Okay.
They decided to take
An
HIV test. I don't know why they did suspect
So
that
you weren't
maybe
aware?
the doctor could have suggested, oh, let's take a test or something. Or because my sister-in-law was a medical professional, she could have sensed something that was not right. But they did the test on a Friday. She died on a Tuesday because she had a pneumonia, a very tough pneumonia. There are pneumonias that can attack you and disorganize you, and don't give you time for you to say, and so she died on a Tuesday before we could pick the results, because before my sister-in-law could pick the results, but after burial, she went and picked the results.
Okay.
But because I was doing my final exams,
Yeah. Can you tell me
she prayerfully hid.
the results?
It's good to have such people in your family, in your environment.
Yeah.
People who can be so sensitive on what needs to be done, or what needs to be said, when, where, how. Abantu abo bakuru nnyo mu bulamu bwaffe. So I will always be grateful to my sister-in-law Eunice. She kept the results until I finished studies. I got a job. After I had started teaching like 2 months, 3 months, she said, now I shouldn't postpone this any longer. So she comes and she says, njagala kukulaba, and then we talk. And she says, things are not as good. I have the results. I went there after burial, but I kept the results. But I feel now you need to know what you need to know. Go and check. Yeah, so it was a tough moment for me, but I thanked her. I asked her so many questions, and she said, no, I can't answer those questions. You can only get them when you test.
Okay.
But one thing I can tell you, we loved you before HIV came into this world. We will continue loving you, with or without AIDS. And I thought,
There's a lighthouse on the hillside that overlooks life's sea. When I'm tossed, it sends out a light that I might see. And the light
HIV 1992. I still remained fine for another 5 years. That's why that question you asked me between HIV positive and AIDS sick is critical. Yeah. When I was testing, I was like, now.
Very okay.
Yeah. And in fact, people may even ask, why are you here? And you go somewhere. Yeah, but yeah, so that's that. And then in January, I went. I made up my mind. I said I can't postpone. You know, there is in theology, in religion, there is what we call hope.
Yeah.
Kubera nesubi. But unfortunately, there is what we call false hope and grounded hope.
Okay.
Abantu bamu babeera nesubi naye nga lizimbiddwa ku musenyo. False hope.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a base on which you can base its accuracy. Like when you say, oh, I hope to go to the US. Okay?
Yeah.
But really, there is nothing to show.
That you're almost going.
You are not doing anything.
To show that maybe you're
Yes,
going.
you are not
Just
studying,
saying,
you are not working the money to get the tickets.
Just sitting.
But you still, that
have the hope.
that becomes like a false hope.
Yeah.
Or like me now saying, I will be there in 2065.
Wow.
That's false hope.
Yeah, that is a false hope.
Yes. So, but there is grounded hope,
Mm.
which has facts and truths to make it happen.
Exactly.
Yes, like Sharon saying, I want to be the best presenter in Uganda.
It's possible.
That's grounded hope.
Yeah.
One can work on it. So I decided I shouldn't live on false hope,
Yeah.
thinking that I'm positive, I'm negative when I'm positive.
Yeah.
Abantu bamu, bali awo bali mu false hope. Naye singa mbadde mulwadde mu mubiri gwandifaananyi we guti. Abalala ne bazaala omwana naye singa ndi positive, that child shouldn't,
Yeah. So, but
Those are false hopes.
By the time they told you, do you think about your second born with your wife?
Pardon?
By the time your sister-in-law told you that the late died of AIDS,
Yes.
did you think about your second
Yeah,
born?
we did. After me being proven that I'm positive, now the attention was, what about the baby?
Okay.
Yeah. So we took our firstborn patients to test. The first year, she was negative. Took her the second year, she was negative. We checked again third, and then the doctors said, please, temutawana mwana. Omuntu bw'azaalibwa ngali negative. Status tekyuka. But if she's born positive, status eyinza kukyuka after the antibodies from mama have gone off.
Yeah.
You get the point?
Yeah, I get it.
Someone can be positive because they are checking and they are seeing the antibodies of the mother who was positive.
Yeah.
But once those have been shed off and the girl or the boy is having their own, then they can be negative. So if the child, from the listeners who are listening to us, if you check a child who is, they are saying she's antibody positive at birth, togwa musubi. First check many times until third year where they say now the antibodies za mama ziwedemu naye asigadde ngali positive.
Yeah, positive.
That's where you can confirm that's now we can continue treating the baby and so forth.
Okay, now can I talk about the life after you get to know your results? How was that life?
It was a tough life.
Yeah.
It was really, of course, the first step is confusion.
You got
The world is collapsing. You know, remember that time, AIDS was something,
Yeah.
you know, people
Very
associated with the very negative things you know about, like
Yeah.
the immoral, promiscuity, looseness, stupid. That's a stupid person. How could he get the virus? Where was he looking? You know, up to now, actually, some of those things persist.
So rare.
Persist, but naye kati bikendede naye emyaka ejaffe you were seen as a sinner who God is punishing for sexual sins, and others would look at you as cursed. So to be told that a born again religious leader is positive, a reverend who is teaching reverend, it was tough. But then later on, of course, I had to make a decision. Will you keep quiet? Will you talk about it? Then I made the decision I would talk, and then I split the church. When I opened up, it was a shock to some people because they had never associated AIDS with born again, serious Christians or serious religious leaders. So for me to come out, I say I'm positive. I divided the faith community.
Okay.
There are those who felt like, yeah, God has answered our prayers. Because you remember, I am opening up in 1992, but AIDS has been around from 1981. That means 10 years of awkward silence in the faith community.
Yeah.
Abantu balwala naye ne bagamba amalogo biki, you know, abalala ne basirika ne bafa kisirikale. But when I opened up, then some people were really excited that God has finally answered the prayers of breaking the silence. Bafunye omuntu ayinza okubeegattako kulwanyisa stigma, shame, denial, discrimination, ebintu ebyo bitawaanya abantu. So there were those who were happy. But there was another group that was like, that I'm shaming the church. And they are like, why is he washing his dirty linen in the public? Why yafunye sirima afe? You know, lwaki atunoonyako sympathy? You know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But I am thanking God that the people who loved the ones who welcomed me and praised God for my testimony became far much more than those who were critiquing it. And that explains the existence of Friends of Canon Gideon Foundation as a ministry. Because those friends continued praying for me and networking together and encouraging me to do the work God had called me to do in that context. And I'm glad to tell our viewers that I have done that work in 60 countries of the world. I have, with their support, started a network of religious leaders living with HIV in 25 countries. Now we are 13,000 members, and we are also able to support young people through the Forgive for Hope Institute for Transformational Leadership, where we have graduated around 3,000 young people in various skills and trades. And we continue to join the national platform because we want to make sure that by 2030 AIDS is history in Uganda. Bagisomako busomye mu bitabo bya history nti waliwo endwadde gye bayita siriimu. So that is my current calling. We now have initiated another 5-year plan that we are going to work with young people, women, and religious leaders and community leaders in Nansana and Wakiso, plus other districts of Uganda, to ensure that we contribute to the national targets of ending AIDS as a public health threat in Uganda by 2030.
I hope you heard from Canon, and of course, because of time, I'm going to ask Canon to give the youths and everyone viewing right now at least a word. Yeah, so Canon,
I really want to thank them for the support they have given to Julius Youth Uganda, and also to say that we join hands together and make sure that we do 5 things for our families, our communities, and our country. Number 1, we promote and multiply safe practices and behaviors.
Yeah.
Number 2, we multiply access and adherence to treatment and good feeding.
Yeah.
Number 3, we make sure that all of us know their status.
Yeah.
And once they know that our status is positive, we start treatment. Number 4, we multiply youth empowerment. You know, there are many young people who are vulnerable and at risk of getting AIDS, and that risk and vulnerability has been made worse by COVID. So we need really to work hard to support young people. We blame them less, support them more, defeat stigma, shame, denial, discrimination, inaction, and misaction. Because if we don't do that, we can't end AIDS faster, smarter, and better.
Okay, thank you, Canon.
Ganama vivi tegali nenyeka kusinza katonda mulala sekuba manyinti bono bakira na jineme mwatajiri ya sama hakuimbira katonda mulala.